So, Mary, this is the dress in one of the last episodes we did before heading off for the summer.
Oh,
She said
stop
you
the
look great
insanity. Thank you.
in your top, but it's the dress. And I'm not sure I remember almost any time in my life where you wore a dress. Renaissance Festival doesn't count.
Okay. This is probably the first dress I have worn in 30 years, maybe.
But not the first time she's worn it.
Yeah,
You
no,
did
I
wear
wore it
it.
this summer.
She wore it this
But
summer.
I hadn't worn a dress in so long, and then this one really appealed to me.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't.
Thanks to you guys.
Yeah,
Giving her inspiration
that's true. That's
to
true.
come up with that for the Stop the Insanity series. So if you want to see that, if you missed it, it's on the YouTube channel. Um, but it was all about taking your pieces and your patterns and turning them into something just a little different. You know, a shirt into a dress or a tunic
Yeah,
and all
you
that.
don't need to buy new patterns for every single garment you make. So we're just trying to expand your horizons when it comes, or your imagination when it comes to that. So if you have uh, what we started out with was a long sleeve button up shirt, you could turn it into a short sleeve button up shirt. You could change the hemline. You can rearrange the pockets, add and subtract a yoke. There's lots of things that you can do rather than purchase another pattern. And if you buy better patterns, they can cost $20 to $30 a piece. So getting the most bang for your buck out of a high quality pattern rather than going out and buying one of those really inexpensive ones only to find out that you've created a water and you've had to wad it up and throw it away because it was ill fitting or ill conceived or a poor draft.
So yeah, if you missed that, it's on our YouTube channel. It was a whole series. And I want to welcome Michelle, who is a newbie here.
Hi,
So
Michelle.
if that is intriguing to you, Michelle, you can go back and find it on Facebook or the YouTube channel, Islander Sewing Systems on YouTube. We have all our videos on there in playlists. So if we did a series, there'll be a whole, you can just go to the playlist and pick a Stop the Insanity series, see all the videos from that. There's a tips and tricks one, there's a fitting one, and
So many, but
all that.
Michelle, know that we did it in knits as well as in wovens. So we took one of our basic knit t-shirt patterns and, well, here's the dress, but we turned it into a lot of different things. And then we did similar concepts in woven. And I came up with my favorite shirt pattern. I had it on earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my favorite shirt pattern from that series, which was the woven, but we just extended the shoulders. It doesn't have a set in sleeve. A little short camp shirt, but it's just so comfortable and easy to wear. So, yeah, that and this dress were really great bonuses for me.
Okay, so I want to acknowledge all the people who put wonderful pictures
Mm.
on our Facebook page over the summer of stuff that they made or were working on
Or want to make.
or want to make. And I encourage you guys to check that out too on our Facebook page. Get some inspiration. There's some great stuff on there. So thank you everybody for sharing that. We love seeing it over the summer. Um, and what else? Okay, so if you did you get everybody get the newsletter? Maybe, maybe not.
That was last week.
That was last week, but we do have an announcement.
We do. What is it?
Am I making it or are you? So, after taking the summer off, and of course, we didn't take the summer off from work, we took the summer off just from the Tuesdays at 2. We
I
kind of.
didn't work as hard as I usually do, though.
No, but you did.
Okay,
work.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We really spent some time sitting down and analyzing what we want to be able to give you guys, where we see this going. And we have decided to make a little bit of a change in Tuesdays at 2. As you know, how many years have we been?
Well, I just saw one from 16, but I thought we started in 17. So somewhere between 16 and 17.
Yeah, that's a long time. We've been doing this.
Yeah, 5
And
or 6 years, yeah.
we try to come up with new stuff all the time, new topics and stuff. And obviously some stuff gets repeated and
It
in
should
in
be.
a new light a lot of the times. But we are finding ourselves needing to put our efforts into some other things and wanting to bring you more quality content while we can prepare for future quality content and patterns and sales and fabric and all that stuff.
We're working on some new product, and it's just, we think will serve us all better.
Yes, we felt like at this point we were starting to spread ourselves a little thin. And we want to again continue to bring you quality content, quality patterns, just all of the stuff. So we have decided to change our format to every Tuesday at 2 to the first Tuesday of the month at 2. And that will start in October. So this month we have today, and we have a great presentation for you that Janet has put together. And then in 2 weeks on the 27th, we're going to do a live sale. We wanted to make sure you guys had enough time to prepare for that and know that it was happening. Because one of the things that Janet did over the summer was a major clean out in here. So, she found some stuff. And we have some fabric that you guys are very familiar with. As you know, with our live sales, we take stuff that is just the last of the bolt sometimes. Stuff that may be a little out of season, might have a little pinhole in it. We always tell you if there's any sort of issue with it. We might have cut it wrong and now it's sitting here and nobody wants to buy it. All kinds of different
We
things.
might have bought it just to make samples, and we're done making the samples.
Janet might have bought it 10 years ago and it's amazing and she's just never cut into it and it's going to be your treasure.
There's so much of that.
So,
and she only thinks I did a major cleaning.
well, it was major for her.
Well,
It really
okay.
was.
I'll give it that.
So, we will do that next week.
No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. I have to get used to it. So, the 27th. How about I just go by dates? September 27th, we'll do the live sale. So, get your internet, find your best internet location or connection.
Yeah.
And we will do that on the 27th. Then we will start in October on October 4th with our first Tuesday of the month. And in the meantime, of course, you can always go onto the Facebook page and watch the videos from the past, or again, the YouTube channel. They're organized a little bit better there.
And any questions that might arise, or if you need a little support, and when you're watching one of those playlists and you say, gee, I want to make that, but I have this one big question, whatever, email us. It's a lot, you're going to have a lot faster response by emailing us than going to leave a message on Facebook. So send an email to, and it's really easy to remember, islandersewing@comcast.net. Just send it in either Brenda or I. It's usually I will, but one of us will answer that for you.
Yes. Okay. So should we get on with any questions? If you have questions, shout them out as always in the comment section. And otherwise, we can get started on your presentation for today.
Yeah. All right. I had one other announcement. Later in September, I'm going to be doing our most popular class online for the American Sewing Guild. So as soon as I have the exact information, I believe it's going to be on the 29th, but it could be the day before, the day after. But it's going to be at the end of the month, and it's our no pins, no basting, no kitting. So it's a basic sewing techniques without using pins, and teaching you why you don't need them and how to compensate for not having them, and you'll sew faster and cleaner. You'll put zippers in a minute, maybe a minute and a half. You will put pockets on without any pins or basting. Lots of fun stuff. So
And this is the national.
National American
Okay.
Sewing Guild. They're going to do a little. I think there's 5 or 6 teachers, and they're just going to do a little online mini conference. They're calling it.
So they can find out about this on their website too?
Yeah, if you go
Okay.
to asg.org, there might be information. I don't have. They're probably. They took some time off in August too, so they're probably
Yeah.
scrambling right now to get all the details. But if it's not up there, it will be soon, and
Yeah,
we'll
and
definitely post
we'll
it.
definitely let you know, but I know that there's some, people out there who like to be right on top of it because this is a class that sells out
Every time.
every time. So,
All right. Okay, so those of you who are with us, when was the last time we were here? June, July,
June.
June. We were doing that wonderful series on Stop the Insanity. And we wanted to stop the insanity of always having to buy a new pattern every time we want to make a garment. And I think we did a nice job with that. Now we want to stop some insanity here. We're calling it make what you love. No, sew what you love and love what you sew.
You made it up.
I know. Sew what you love what you sew. So, what do we mean by that? Well, sometimes in sewing, because we love the challenge, we love the textiles, we get excited, we get a little overexcited, and we grab a bunch of supplies and we make a project. Maybe we saw it on a girlfriend or we saw it in a fashion show at an expo. Oh, yeah, that looks so great on her. And then we make it up, and it turns out not to be one of our favorite garments because we missed one small detail in analyzing it. So I just want to go through a few steps of how to analyze before you sew what's going to work well for you and in your wardrobe. So let's start out with body types. Most of you are in a similar age group to myself, but you're somewhere between Jessica and I. And you probably already know your body type, or you've been told what your body type is. And maybe your body type's changed a couple of times. But here, Jessica, I'm going to want you to zone in on this. So I've posted this diagram of body types. Now this one is not one that's familiar to me, but it does make sense. The hourglass, the inverted triangle, the rectangle, the triangle, the diamond, the oval. I'm more familiar with the one that includes fruit, because here's an apple. And you can even zoom in further because these guys are really little, unfortunately. So...
wrong way, sorry.
So here's the apple body. Yeah, that's me. I've always been an apple body, which means I'm very robust in the torso. I have a very flat derriere, always have had. Never had a tiny waist. But post-menopause has caused me to have no waist. And that does it to a lot of us. Because when you go through menopause, your waist gets thicker and your hips get narrower, and they kind of start to meet each other. So that's a body type as well now. But some of you will recognize the pear shape. The pear shape is a shape where you have large hips but not large bust. And then, of course, the hourglass figure, which is here, is the same or nearly the same measurement of the bust as the hips, with a approximate 10 to inch, give or take an inch, difference in the waist. That's the hourglass, and that's the Barbie doll. That's the models that we see on the runway. This is, or at least the actresses. This is what we're all. The ideal look of a woman has always been portrayed to us, but we don't all look like that. But we want to look nice in our clothes. So first we want to identify our body type. So again, You will determine that by looking at yourself in the mirror and similarly dressed to this, and you'll be able to tell if you don't already know. My guess is you already know. Some people are just, maybe they've been called bean poles, but they're straight. They don't have a lot of curves. I don't even know if they identify that one here. Maybe the lollipop. There's lots of funny names, but they really don't mean anything because genetically we're all different. And your body type doesn't have anything to do with your character. It just has to do with what you carry around with you, and you need to dress that body type to look its very best. So, identifying your body type is the way to go. So, once you've done that, it will help you determine the kind of garments that are going to look best on you. And we're going to go over some of that next. So, we want to talk about the silhouettes. Silhouettes of garments. So, one of the most basic silhouettes and oftentimes misunderstood is the A line. So, A line simply means A shaped. So, it's narrow at the top and continues to get wider at the bottom. But you'll see with this A line, that's very, very obvious. And one of the reasons is this is a corduroy dress, believe it or not. So it's going to really show the A line. But you can see that this fits nicely around the shoulders and the bust, but it doesn't fit closely on the rest of the body. So this could be a very good postmenopausal style for some of us. This one is also an A line, but because it's a softer fabric, it falls around the lower part of the body, but it skims the body, but it doesn't define the body at all. And again, if you don't have an area in here that you want defined, that's why the A line is good for you. Because she could have quite a thick waist in here. And we don't know it. We can't see it. It doesn't disturb the eye. It just flows down. Here's another one in a little bit a dressier look. And it's a little closer fitting, but yet it's still an A-line. A lot of times there's A-line skirts. And when I went to look up A-line silhouettes in Google, they don't know the difference. So they were giving me a lot of dresses that were fitted at the waist, but they had an A-line skirt on them. So that's something very different. So this is the A-line dress, and this will look good on almost any figure. But if a young woman is hourglass, she probably doesn't want to hide her waist. She could throw a belt on any of these and make it even look better for her because she doesn't want to skim that area. She wants to show it off. Now here's a classic style that has gone through the ages. We've seen it everywhere for, since, well, at least Katharine Hepburn used to wear the shirt waist. I remember, those of you who are older, Donna Reed, that's all she wore was shirt waist dresses and her pearls and her heels to do the housework. But that was the 50s. Anyways, a shirtwaist dress is really great for an apple body that isn't thick in the waist yet because it creates a waist, but it comes out on the hips to create the illusion of a hip because I didn't have one. So I wore a lot of shirtwaist dresses when I was younger. And I had a full bust, so it gave me the illusion of an hourglass when I didn't even have one close to that. And then I talked to a friend, and she liked them because she's a pear shape, and it camouflaged the unevenness of her figure. So a shirtwaist dress will work on just about any figure. And I think that's why it's such a classic style. All right. Then we want to talk about style, your style, the styles of garments that you are drawn to, the ones you're most comfortable in. What are you doing?
Oh, you got my. Well, I have a question before you
Okay.
move on to the next
Sure.
section. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Teresa wants to know. I have a small waist. When we're talking about body shapes,
Mm-hmm.
I have a small waist. It's about 13 inches smaller than my hips.
Wow, lucky you.
Would you recommend a pattern that fits my hips and adjusting the waist, or using a pattern that fits the waist and adjusting the hip?
Well, it would depend on the garment. So let's say it's a dress. One of the things that's really important when you're doing a dress or anything, I'm just going to make. Okay, so what you're going to want to do, no matter, it doesn't matter, first of all, the question of the hip versus which one you should get.
You need a marker.
Okay, that's, yeah, there's some right over there, Jess. The key is proportions. So, okay, so proportions. Where is your waist in relationship to the back of your neck? So what's your back waist length measurement? And then where do your hips come out at? Do they come out 8 inches below, 9 inches below, 11 inches below? Because that's going to be the key for you. And you're going to measure that, the widest part of the pattern, and how far down it is from the waist. That is more important than width, because you can, width back and forth is fine, but if you cut this out and it's the wrong proportions, it's not going to hang right on your body. So I'm going to say, make sure that you measure bust, waist, hip in proportion, and then start out with either a too small or a too wide and adjust it that way. That kind of an adjustment's easier. See if that, I hope that answered your question, but if it didn't, please, call out and let us know. Okay, good. So, yeah, oftentimes we have a pattern and people will write me and they say, I don't fall into that area. I'm an inch smaller in the bust, but I'm 2 inches bigger in the hip and the waist isn't even close. You've got to find one of those points to start with. And if you can, start with the bust. That's the hardest to fit, is the bust. So if it's a full length garment or a bodice, start with get that bust measurement right, and then you can adjust. And we did that in all of our fitting series. Like when we tell you to buy the knit sloper, the t-shirt knit sloper, we always tell you, cut out the one that fits your bust, the size that fits your bust. Never mind if the waist is wrong, because we can adjust it by going in or out. No problem. Okay.
She said, thank you, that's very helpful. And the small waist can be a curse. Yeah, the grass is always greener on the other side.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I feel you. I know exactly what you're saying. We all have our assets and we all have our not such great assets, and we just deal with them. Sometimes we work around them, we camouflage them, but this is all about dressing for them and getting the right silhouette and the right proportions. So I'm glad you asked that question. Proportions are so important. Now, when we talk about your style, I have a couple of styles that I lean toward, and you probably do too, at least one. So, this, by the way, is considered a sheath dress. Anything that really falls fairly straight on the body is a sheath. And these are your nice quintessential little black dresses. And I think the proportions on these are great for the height of the women. Everything seems to be falling just right. So this is a classic style. You will see sheaths all the way back to Roman times. They just change in length or some of, like this one has some ruching in it, but it's still a sheath. So you'll see the styles change in the way that they are manipulated or different. Like in the 60s, they would take a sheath, but they would put a lot of seaming in it to create some new dimension or interest. So, but you'll always see that classic style. And if you look good in that, and you know you look good in that, and that's an hourglass and a lollipop look really good in those. And a few other shapes will look good in those as well. But you know if you look good in those by looking in the mirror. The key is now proportions. Where do you hem it according to your height? And we talked about that because I'm the shortest person on my staff, and Brenda's the tallest, and we talked about how I might hem mine just a little bit shorter, because if I hem mine a little bit shorter at 5'1", it gives me the appearance of more leg, longer leg. If I hem it too far below the knee, it's like I have stubby little legs. It just cuts me at the wrong place. Again, proportions are important. So you want to keep that in mind. If you're taller, you have a few more options. Maybe you want it above the knee to be a little sassy, but you could take it down to mid-calf and it would still look appropriate, because you still have enough leg below mid-calf to show off, where mine wouldn't. There wouldn't be much leg there. Okay, so that is the classic style of sheath dress, or a little black dress. And then we want to talk about modern styles. Maybe you're more attracted to modern styles. What's new? What's trendy? What's cool? Well, I love this one because it's the irregular hemline. But it's just a soft dress. It's fitting at the waist. If you looked at it, it's got almost an A-line skirt. I can't really tell if it's, because it doesn't look gathered at all. But that's a very modern look with irregular hemlines, whether they're short in the front and long in the back, or they come to different points, or they're asymmetrical. That's a really modern look. And that might be your style. That might be what you're attracted to. Of course, the new, what they call body conscious, and some people put them on, and I think they're not at all conscious of their bodies, because they're not as attractive as it is on this woman. This woman has an hourglass figure to die for. And she looks beautiful in this garment. But unfortunately, and I know we've all seen people that are not aware, and they end up having a lot of imperfections when that stretched fabric forms over their body. Any little bubble or bulge is going to show. So not everybody can wear this, but it is a very popular modern style. Jumpsuits are very popular right now, but not everybody likes them. The inconvenience of them, having to remove the whole top, you're practically naked in the restroom. That has been a complaint for many, many years. The proportions are harder too. If you have, everything has to fit just right. If the crotch is too long, the waist is too high, it's going to sag in the butt. It's not going to hang right. But I think just about any body type can wear the jumpsuit. It just depends on the fabric. Some fabrics will hang closer to the body, and others will billow out a little bit. And that will make a difference in the way it looks on the person. Do we have more questions, Jessica? Okay. So then the last group I wanted to talk about was Bohemian and Artsy styles. So Bohemian, anybody who was around in the 60s knows exactly what Bohemian style is, because that's just pretty much what the flower children were wearing. So oftentimes it's mixed prints, It's loose fitting, very, very often. It's ankle length dresses, lots of flowiness, little jackets that would flow with very large sleeves and things. Just a real dramatic, but yet soft, romantic look. That's bohemian. Now, you might be the artsy type, and I've identified two different artsy types here. So, this is the artsy type that doesn't want to be seen from across a crowded room, but she has style and she likes to mix it up and be a little bit offbeat or a little bit off the normal path. So that's a very fun look, and it's artsy, and just about any body type could wear this because look at this is an A-line jacket. So it isn't catching you anywhere. You just have to be careful when you go with A-lines. Don't get them too big. You get them too big and it makes you look bigger instead of smaller. So it's all about getting just the right ease in this particular style of garment. So what I do is I always leave those seams basted. And if I don't do a muslin, I'm going to leave those seams basted, and then I'm going to pull it in till it hangs the best on my body. And then we got the artsy look. So you might be the artsy person, the one who likes to manipulate fabric and dye and paint your fabrics, mix and piece a lot of things, and that might be your style. So those are the kind of the different styles that you will come across when you're shopping. The artsy stuff, you're going to find that in very specific places. But all these rest of these styles, you just go to your basic department store, you're going to find all those styles. So now think about which one looks best on me. Which one is the best for my age and body type and height? And take a critical look in the mirror. And if you can't be sure, if you're looking at it, and sometimes we look at ourselves and we miss a lot of what other people see because we're focused on one particular thing. So take a photograph of yourself in a garment or in a style. Then take a look at the photograph, and you'll have a better perspective. When it's yourself, you'll see things that you didn't see before. So those are some suggestions on finding the right silhouette and the right style for you. And you may already know what one or both of those are. But the final conundrum for so many of us, and it's happened to me too, is color. Now, I happen to be a person who loves color. Lots of colors, all the colors. And I...
At once.
Sometimes. And... see my kitchen. But whenever I hear somebody say, whatever color it might be, so I'm just going to pick a color. I hate orange. I always say to them, what did orange ever do to you? How can you hate a color? Colors are all part of the universe, and they're all beautiful in their correct place, but they may not all be beautiful on me. Okay, so one of my conundrums is that for quite a while I would pick garments that I would never wear or colors that I would never wear, but I like the color combination. I'd go to the fabric store, I'd fall in love with this print, and there was this great salad that went with it. Oh, look at the trim, this is beautiful. I go home and make it. And then I put it on and I go, this doesn't look good on me at all. It looks good on the hanger because it's beautiful, it's well coordinated, it's great color combination. And I do like the color combination, but not on me. It didn't fit my hair color or my skin tone, whatever it might be. So I could get seduced by a lot of different color combinations because I like them all. So I have to learn what looks best on me. And if I go in my wardrobe, you're going to see blue, red, and pink a lot.
Orange.
And orange. Those colors.
Yeah. Even though some people hate orange.
Some people do hate orange. I think, remember someone who worked for me one time told me orange was an angry color. I don't know.
Maybe that's why you like it so much.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that's it. Anyway, how did I get off track?
How do you find out? You look in your closet, but how else?
Okay, so one other thing I want to say before I get to how to discover what color looks best on you is look at the colors that you're really attracted to and the ones that you wear all the time. Then look in your closet at the colors or the garments that you don't wear.
They just hang there.
Sometimes you've never worn. And analyze that. And it's generally going to be, a lot of times it's the fit, but oftentimes it's the color. And one of the big issues if you're buying clothes is in the department stores, the lighting is so bad, the color isn't the same when you get it out into natural light. So be aware of that, even in fabric stores. Some of us will take our fabric outside or at least take it to the front window of the store to make sure that it's the color that we are hoping it to be. So anyways, here's how I was taught to determine whether a color was going to look good on me. And we would do this in the fabric store every time. And we would go over to the mirror, and you need good lighting. And you can do this at home easier than in a fabric store. But you're going to take a length of the fabric, take the bolt, whatever, and drape it up around your face so that nothing else is showing, just the skin tone on your face. Now, here's what's going to happen. And I don't think we're going to be able to realize this here on camera, but what happens is certain colors you'll put up here and your face will brighten up. The actual pink of your cheeks will be brighter. It'll add a glow to your face. But other colors you'll put on and it'll drain. Like if I put yellow, Jessica and I can't wear yellow. We put yellow on and it drains the color. We look gray. And you can see this by the quick, put it up, take it down. You'll be able to see that happen. And if you don't have the color sense to identify that, if you're just really, get a friend.
Or think about clothes that you wear. I know there's certain colors that I wear I will get more compliments on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, your eyes look great today. Put that together and think like, oh, well, what color am I wearing that's making that happen?
Exactly. There was a program at one time, and I went with a friend. I didn't do it because I didn't feel I needed it, but she wanted to go to this thing called Color Me Beautiful. And what they did, the first thing they did was they covered up her hair. And they put a smock on, and they did the same thing, but they covered up her hair. And I knew immediately that didn't work because I've had lots of different colors of hair. And I could not wear certain colors as a brunette that I could wear as a blonde or white hair. I could wear different colors according to my hair. So I think your hair color has to be taken into consideration.
Yes, and Arlene just commented on that too before you said that. She said, I let my hair turn gray, which you are familiar with. And she said, some of the colors in my closet I can't wear anymore. And the same went for you the other way too. There are colors you can wear now that you couldn't wear before.
I had a horrible time wearing black as a brunette. I had no color in my face. The minute I went blonde, I could wear black. I could wear black as a redhead. And, oh, Arlene, it's not gray. It's silver. But anyway, yes, that does make a big difference. And good on you for recognizing it. And then now develop your color palette. And then when you go to the fabric store or the fabric online and you look at those colors, then you'll know. You say, boy, that's a beautiful color, but it won't look good on me. Move on to the ones that will be your complement.
Ruth is asking, what is the color you held up?
Which one?
Just tell her both, I guess.
Okay, this one. Brenda, help me. This one, it's the heathered rust color, but I don't. We're going to tell you, this comes in like 5 different colorways. 2 of them just came in, but we have but it's really subtle heather. So it's a great fall winter knit. And Brenda's going to tell me. And this one, I believe, is our robin's egg.
The teal is what she's asking
Yeah.
about.
Is that the cerise heather?
Yeah. Cerise?
Yeah.
This one was called cerise.
And what's the teal one called?
Well, I don't know. Do we still have this one? Let me see. Maybe I shouldn't have picked this one. Move your... I don't
I
think...
don't see it.
Yeah, we don't
It's
have...
teal.
It's teal, but we don't have that color right now.
Or turquoise, if you will.
Yeah, we do have... nope, we don't have that one either. Now...
All right, Marlene said she did the Color Me Beautiful back in the 80s, and she still uses a lot of the colors they recommended. So it is good,
Yep.
but keep the point being, keep that hair color in mind and why something might change.
And this color, I wear this. I get a lot of compliments whenever I wear this. It could be royal blue all the way to periwinkle. And this is a great color for me, and I have a lot of that in my wardrobe. And you know what else is cool? Once you coordinate the colors that you know you look best in, then you got shoes, handbags, jewelry, all that stuff that, you know, you could still know that it's going to work into your wardrobe. You're out shopping, you go, well, this handbag will work with at least 10 of my outfits or whatever. So shoes, all that kind of stuff. All right. So I hope that you picked up a few tidbits today and adjusting your wardrobe so that you don't make waters. So you don't, you know, what's worse than making a water is making a garment that fits perfect and is really nice. If it is, just doesn't look good on you. It's the wrong style or the wrong color. So style and color.
And I think that it is important to mention that when you're talking about love what you sew and sew what you love, and Janet says go to your closet and see. What do you own? What do you wear? What is the silhouette? You know, she gave you a lot of great tips to fit your body. But let's be real. Some of us feel more comfortable outside of the rules, you know? So if this told you for your body type not to wear a figure hugging dress, but you feel confident and lovely in that,
And you own Spanx.
then don't, or not, then don't try to change who you are to, because when you go to sew the garment, you're going to be in the same situation.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to say, this is what I like to wear. Janet told me it needs to be
Oh,
bigger.
yeah, no,
You're
no.
not going to wear it.
No.
So in the spirit of love what you sew what you love, she gave you a lot of tips to how to feel good, what to look good, all that sort of stuff. But when you look in the closet and if those tips don't match up and you're like, but this is what I like,
Hey.
then go with that.
Yeah, these tips are for people who may have been having a little trouble maneuvering that. If you've got your style down and you know what you like, go for it. Absolutely. I am not the fashion police, but I do want to tell you about someone who is, Tim Gunn. So Tim Gunn from Project Runway a few years back did a program called Guide to Style, which he really helped people identify just what we're talking about today, but on a higher level. So the reruns of it can be found on Bravo or Hulu. So it's Tim Gunn's Guide to Style is the name of the show. So I think that's a good one to maybe take a look at if you are a person who wants a little more of the tips. But
A little guidance into why. Because sometimes, somebody made a great suggestion and I want to give them credit and I just have to find it. So I'll keep talking until I find it and it. Mary Berg. She said when you talked about putting on a garment, if you're at the store or whatever, and you're like, I don't know, take a picture. And then we got into color commentary. But Mary said also it can help to take the picture in black and white.
Oh.
Because say you're looking at the silhouette, the pattern or the colors might be distracting.
Exactly.
So if you're looking for the silhouette, Mary, that was a great suggestion to take the photo in black and white and then look at yourself for the silhouette. And how does that look?
I wanted to show one more thing in using me as an example.
Okay.
Well, when I did this dress, and you're going to need to be able to see me down to about here. Can you see me down to here?
Yes.
Okay. So when I made this dress, people asked me, where did I put this seam right here? Did I put it at the waist? Oh, heavens no. Watch this. I'm an apple shape. If I put this seam down here, now look how much wider I look. But just by popping it up here, I go in a little bit. I don't really. But I get the illusion. So I don't want my waist down here. And I know that. So if I was making another dress and the waist was down there, I might just raise it up.
All right. Any other questions? If you have questions, shout them out. I want to circle back to the ASG class.
Okay.
Deborah says she got the email. It's open. You can register.
I didn't get the email.
Didn't get the
I'll go
email.
look. Hey, Deborah, would you forward me that email?
Islandersewing at Comcast.net. But it is, I see on their website. And Claudia asked, do you have to be a member to take the class?
I don't
And
believe
it
so.
does look like that on the website. I don't know for sure. I cannot answer that question specifically, but when you go to it to sign up, it wants you to sign in. So I don't know that for sure. But she said that her local chapter went away. But you do not need a local chapter to be. I know
Be
this
a
for a
member,
fact.
yeah.
To be a member, you
Yeah.
do not need have a local chapter to be a member. You can be a member.
And they're
at
doing
large
a lot
is
more
what they call it.
online stuff now. So, 20 years ago, it probably wouldn't have been much benefit. But now you do get your discount card, I believe.
It says all members can access the free videos and files, attend the annual conference, and take advantage of discounts and special offers available only to members. And I did put that link, and I will do it again because I put it just to Claudia, to signing up to be a member, right in the comments there, if you guys want to check it out. So I don't for sure know the answer, but it does look like you need to be a member because it is part of their conference.
It's a mini conference, yeah.
Well, it's a virtual aspect of their conference, correct?
No.
According to
They
their
already
website.
had their conference. So this is what
Okay.
through this one they called me in August. They said we want to put on a mini conference.
Yes, I see. September 29th through October 1st. When I click on view the virtual class options, it wants me to sign in as with my member login. So that's what is giving me the impression you need to be a member. And then you could see what other classes. Or Deborah can forward us the email.
No, I did see it on Facebook, and they listed the different classes, and mine was listed there. But I didn't know who the other teachers were because they only listed the titles of the classes.
And Janet did. I learned about this as you guys learned about it. So I haven't had a chance to do a lot of background checking on it, but that is the information that it looks like. But I do know for a fact you don't need to have a local chapter to be a member, and they do offer a lot of different things, especially online now.
Yeah, they did several online classes last year, I think. I didn't do any of them, but yeah. And you do get that discount coupon for some stores and stuff too. So
Yep, and Brenda says she's a member, not affiliated with a specific group. So she's backing me up. Thanks, Brenda. And Deborah's forwarding you the email.
all right, excellent.
Another reminder, especially if you haven't seen the newsletter, is we have a bunch of fabric on clearance right now. So get that while you still can. In great prices. I guess I could put that link too. Anything else, Janet? Any other surprises you have for us?
um, well, no, I don't think so. We're getting ready to get some new products in here, and we're working on things. And I think you're really gonna like the changes. Um, we'll continue to have our regular promotions and sales and newsletters and things. That's not going to stop. But we want to do a little bit more in depth in our programming, and we want to spend time doing some new products for you. So I think you'll appreciate all of that.
I put the link for the clearance fabric if you like Janet's dress.
Oh,
That
yeah.
fabric is in there. So,
Yes, and it's a really good price.
yeah.
And this is the ITY. I made it and wore it this summer when we went on some of our trips because, oh, we don't have camera anymore. Hold on. We lost our picture, but we can get it back in a second. Maybe, she says.
They should be able to still hear you.
Yeah, I just forgot what I was saying.
The wore it in the summer.
Yeah. And I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah.
The ITY wore it in the summer.
Oh, yes. Because ITY is the best vacation wardrobe you can have because it doesn't wrinkle. Literally throw it in the suitcase. Wind it up in the corner, whatever. Pop it out, not a wrinkle. So I have t-shirts and a dress made out of this, and it makes a great, especially if you're going on a cruise or a long distance vacation overseas or something, and you got to keep your wardrobe tight. These are lightweight, they don't take up much room, and they don't wrinkle, so it makes your life really easy. So I love ITY for that.
All right, so check those out. There's still some of Connie's patterns in there too. I think they're at like $1. So definitely check those out. The fabric. We will be back in 2 weeks for the live sale. Remember, you want your strongest internet connection because the first claimer gets it. That's all I got.
Are you sure? Okay. Anyway, it's been fun getting back. I almost wondered if I remembered how to do this. We had been off so long, but happy to be back. And oh, thank you all. So many of you wrote and said that you missed us, and we miss you too. And we're excited to be back and sharing our love of sewing with you. So we'll see you in 2 weeks for the live sale. But in the meantime, remember, Islander Sewing at Comcast.net for any questions or sewing conundrums. If you go to the playlists on YouTube, you'll find tons of great stuff, including fitting. And if you need additional fitting help, we even have a little fitting support package. You'll find it on the fitting page on the website. So all that's available as well. So anyways, have a great week. It's nice to be back, and we'll see you in 2. Bye.